Hey y'all, listen, it's late. It's late. Listen, it's Friday night, okay? It's late, but we're in the building and we're gonna have a conversation. So I'm glad if y'all hanging out with me. I'm glad to see y'all in the building. Thanks for being here. Y'all know what it is. It's Trending Topics Friday. Okay, we got stuff to talk about as usual. I will say this up front before I even get into tonight's trending topics. I'm gonna say, Alec Baldwin. His case was dismissed. Um, that whole situation was tragic, and condolences to the one that was unalive during the filming of that movie Rust. I think they should never play the movie out of respect for her and her family and everything that happened that day. But I also feel like he didn't go there with the intentions of unaliving anybody. So, I hope now that Alec Baldwin and his family can, heal. And I hope all the parties involved in this situation can heal. But I'm also feeling sorry for the young lady that, well, I feel a little bit sorry for her because she was doing a lot of games and acting a little shady during her trial. So maybe she does belong behind bars, the one that was in charge of the Pow Pows on the set. So yeah. And yes, Rebels, Alex should give a proper apology to the victim's family because at the end of the day, although he did not mean it, it was because he it was, yeah, y'all know what I'm trying to say. We're gonna move on. But listen, his case was dismissed, right? I've been debating. I'm not sure what I gotta let it marinate in my mind. But got a couple emails to say, can we have a live on this Project 25? Um, I'm gonna think about it. I'm gonna think about it. I understand that it's what's going on in the world today, and if we're going to do a trending topic, it is a trending topic, and we should talk about it. Let me see how I can approach it, and then we may get into it one night here. I have to see. I'm going to think about it. Okay. Not making any promises yet, but I will think about it. Yeah. We got to see because it's a lot, and those conversations get hot, heated, and heavy real fast. And I just have to figure out, is that the road I want to go down? Maybe, maybe not. We shall see. Okay. We'll talk about it. And look at Candace said yes for the Project 2025. All right. Somebody, Sebastian said, do it on Saturday next week. That live has to be on a weekend. Yes, that live definitely has to be on a weekend, and we'll figure it out together. Y'all let me know, okay? Let me know if I should do this, and I will highly think about it. All right. So let's get into tonight. Tonight's trending topic title is a miracle. It's a miracle. That's what we're going to talk about, okay? A miracle. And so who's on the agenda tonight? It's Diddy and this Vibe executive. And I've been hearing her name for a while now. She's been talking and kind of slowly peeking her story out into the scenes. She is one of the fortunate ones in the sense that she was not SA'd by Diddy. So she's lucky. She scathed that part of his horrific story, but she does still have her own horrific memory about Diddy. She said it was so horrific that it broke her brain. So now I'm not going to get all medical on y'all. I'm not going to try to get scientific on y'all. But a lot of times when people have traumatic situations that happen in their life, in order, your body is amazing. Your body can heal itself if it has the right environment in which to heal itself. Your body will heal itself, okay? And then when your body cannot, that's when you need antibiotics. That's when you may need surgery, so forth and so on. I'm not going to get too deep into all of that, but your body was built to heal itself. So with that being said, when you have something traumatic happen in your life, sometimes maybe it happened in your childhood, whenever it happened in your life, your brain will suppress that automatically for you sometimes, to the point where you have a faint memory that said thing happened to you, but you cannot remember all the details. So this vibe executive pretty much said that, you know, she experienced this horrific experience with Diddy where she wanted him, because she was in charge at Vibe, and she wanted him on the cover of Vibe magazine. I want to say 1997 December/1998 January issue. She had a vision, she had ideas, she wanted him on the cover because you know what? There was a time period, and that's why it's so sad that Diddy, Puffy, Puff Daddy, whichever name he wants to go by at whatever time, you know, his historical story and legacy could have been so different had he not been so darn sinister. He killed his legacy, killed it with all of this sinister stuff. You know, they used to say sex, drugs, and rock and roll, but I guess it's sex, drugs, and hip hop. Killed his legacy. Because there was a time period where when you turned on the radio, this was back in my days, it was a radio. You turned on the radio, and all you heard on the radio was one of Diddy's artists. They used to dominate the award shows, dominated everything. Talking about being on top, he was on the tip top. And had it not been for all this sinister stuff, this man could have left a real huge positive mark on history. But we're not there. And when you have a sinister part in your history and you have all these great things that you've done, the darkness will overshadow that light. And you will go down in history as something negative. All the great things that Bill Cosby has done, the sex, the drugs, took him down and swiped away his legacy. So this Vibe executive says she wanted him on the cover. She had a vision. She did the photo shoot. He wanted to see the cover before they actually put it out, because if he didn't like it, he probably was going to tell him, do it over or select another picture. She's like, no, that's not our process. When we have a person we're putting on the cover, we take the photo shoot, we decide which picture we're going to pick, and we put it out, and we don't typically show the talent the pictures that have them come selected before we put it out. Well, you know that ain't Diddy's way. Diddy allegedly seemed to be like a whole hip-hop gangster in the entertainment industry. So Diddy allegedly told her, I'll see you dead in the trunk before you just put out whatever picture you want. And he got to calling up to the Vibe offices and telling them people he wants to see the pictures, and he's going to be down there the next day so he can see them. They came on down to the office. Since they was preparing for him to come, her co-workers was hiding her, bringing her from office to office, and got her out the building till they got her in the cab and sent her home. And this is before the whole digital age now. How so highly digital. Imagine this was back then where we still was using fax machines and all that kind of stuff. So she scrambled, grabbed up all the papers off her desk. She got out of there. He came back the next day, and he and allegedly his gangster friends, they ripped out, just like when they raided Diddy's home and they ripped out all the footage and the this and the this and the that. They took all the stuff out of there. And he called her and he said, I'm going to ask you, and I'm paraphrasing, guys. He said, I'm going to ask you one more time. I need to see the cover in those pictures. She said no, and that's when he told her, I'll see you dead in the trunk first, allegedly. She said, take it back and apologize. I'm going to call my lawyer, call the cops, and you're going to go to jail. He said, whatever. She called her lawyer. Her lawyer called his lawyers. Next thing you know, Diddy apologized. She said she still had to work with him after that. And they would see each other at events. And she said she had to play it off. So she said, you will see pictures of her. So before, everybody said, girl, you trying to act like he did this to you, but we seen pictures of you with him afterwards. She explained that. She said she pretty much had to do what she had to do because they both was working in the industry. Yeah, and they didn't come on cute, him acting like a bridezilla. But we heard this story before with Diddy. Hell has no fury when Diddy don't get his way. He got a temper on him. That man needs excessive therapy, allegedly, for all the things that he got going on in that head. If he ends up going to jail, he's going to need to be in solitary confinement 23.5 hours out the day, and they let him out to go shower. He ain't going to survive. Well, then maybe he will, because allegedly, okay, I'm going to carry on. But you know, listen, a whole menace to society. And it took a miracle. That girl called her lawyers and he apologized, because he don't apologize to nobody. And in that apology video, did he say sorry? Well, he couldn't say Cassie's name. That's right. But he said, you know what? He said he was broken. He's making no excuses for his behavior, but he's a better man now. Man was a whole menace. But this vibe executive, she tells a story. That's why Mama Combs was having chest pains the other day. Because Mama Combs knew that more stories was going to be coming out about Diddy. She can't take it no more. The woman 81. So the people calling her, there's another story. There's another story. There's another story. There's another story. She's supposed to be chilling in her Miami home, on her porch, living her best life. She can't take it no more. So I guess for a minute there, we was getting story after story after story after story after story about Diddy. And now it seems like we about to go back on the Diddy trend. So buckle your seatbelts. Probably for the next few weeks, we're going to hear more Diddy stories. This girl said her brain was broken, so much so that her co-workers had to remind her what happened that day because they said they never forgot. Child, if they need to write a book, Surviving Diddy. It'll probably be like 13 parts. Good gosh. A miracle. Let's move on because Bethany Frankel is on the docket tonight. Bethany Frankel is so tone deaf. It will take a miracle for her to get it. Now, here's the thing. You could tell that for most people, it's not just about them having money. If I had to pick between A and B, be a billionaire and no one knows my name, or be a billionaire and everybody knows my name, I'm picking A. I want to walk down the street, have my money, and y'all don't know who I am, and y'all don't even care about me. That way, when I wake up and I want to go to Target, I could go to Target and not have to have a bodyguard come with me. When I want to go to the movie theater, I can go to the movie theater. We don't have to call ahead of time and ask them, can you shut down the movie theater so me and my family could come and have a peaceful time? I want to go shopping. Whatever I want to do, I get to do it. Bethany Frankel gets up on her social media, does a public service announcement, talking about, hey, Black people, the Hamptons is not just rich for the rich, right people. She was like, there's Black people here too. And she named some other coaches. I said, this girl has got to be dumb, stupid, or both. You needed to say that. Why? Let me say this. People will have to be extremely slow to think that that everywhere in the world you're not going to at least see one or two or three of some other people or some mixed blend. Like, come on now. But just so in case y'all didn't know, now you know, in the Hamptons they got some black people. And they had this girl on our TV screen on the Real Housewives in New York. This is the girl that came up with the brand Skinny Girl. And every time you turn around, she's turning on her camera on her phone and saying something real stupid. Can somebody ask Bethenny where the union is for the Bravo girls? Where's that? But see, when I told y'all she was blowing smoke up y'all behind, y'all wanted to stab me. Y'all threw tomatoes. Y'all wanted to cancel me. Told me Bethenny was doing a good thing for the people, for the world, for the this, for the that. And here we are a few months later. I ain't hear nothing about the union. Y'all dragged me for filth. Over those lies, I had bruises, scratches. My head was hurting. What's that movie, A Feel Good Man? He said, you want the truth? Well, you can't handle the truth. When I tell my truth over here, y'all be ready to beat me down. But I hold on to it. I throw it out there, then I hold on to it. And then when it come back around, what I say is happening. I say, see, there you go. There you go. I said that to y'all, but y'all didn't want to believe me. I told y'all she wasn't going to do nothing with that union, nothing with the lawsuit. Where is it? Bethenny ain't mentioned a word about it since. She aborted mission. Her concern was to help the little people, to help the reality stars that get no justice. Well, had she had her union, maybe Kenya Moore would still have her job, because the union would have saved it. But I digress. Let me move back to the point at hand. A miracle. Then we got this sad story. The story is still developing, but I thought I'd bring it to y'all so we can get it out there in our head and maybe we all stay connected to it. This young mother, 25, she had a 4-year-old, she had a 1-year-old. I think something wasn't right with her. I don't know. The story is still developing. But either way, 4-year-old ends up behind something, drowned in a lake. The 1-year-old survived 2 days. 2 days out on a highway. Bug bites and everything. A truck driver was coming by, saw the kid crawling, pulled over and called 911. 2 days. Then his mother was found at a bus stop, train station or something, waiting to get out of town. They caught her. You know, when people do stuff like this to kids, they all just spend the rest of their life behind bars with no opportunity for parole. The 4-year-old is gone. A 1-year-old survived outside in horrific weather, they said, too, for 2 days. Took me a while to do this story because it brought tears to my eyes. My kid is a teenager, finished 1 year of college. And when he ain't home at a certain time, and I know I gotta let him live his life, and he out there, I'll be texting, where you at? Are you good? What time you gonna get home? Be careful. I love you. If you don't want your kids, drop them off somewhere. Don't unalive them. Don't leave them out there fending for themselves. Walk in a hospital, say, I need help. Go to a church, the police department, something. They call that baby the miracle baby. They don't know how that 1 year old survived out there 2 days. They said the weather was horrific. Survived out in the streets 2 days by himself. We're going to talk about it. Y'all know what I need in the chat, right? I need a what? I need a choo choo. Thank you, Tay Tay. Hold aboard, everybody. It is Friday Night Trending Topics. The title is called A Miracle. Somebody put in the chat for me, hashtag a miracle. We're talking about Diddy and his Vibe executive. We're talking about Bethenny Frankel letting us know that Black people, y'all are welcome in the Hamptons. Okay, maybe not after the election, but right now we are welcome in the Hamptons. And we're going to talk about the miracle baby. I'm going to bring the people on in the building. Hold on 1 second. Hey, Leo.
Hey, Diva. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Here, in my opinion.
Hey, Diva.
Hey. Hey, Felicia. Hey, E. Hey, Katrina. Hey, Sebastian. Hey, Wayne.
Hey, Diva.
Hey. Hey, Tay Tay. Did I leave anybody out? Hold on now. Sorry. Hey, Julius.
Hey, y'all.
Hey. Let's get right into this story. I think where am I going to start? Let's start with this, Bethany. Let's get this foolery.
Yes, please.
Let's get this foolery out the way with this, Bethany. Okay. Yes, shared that the angels was watching over that baby. For sure, for sure. Okay, let's deal with this chick right here. So Bethany Frankel slammed for saying the Hamptons are not only for rich people. Big Latino, African American communities. Okay, so she's saying we out there. She's saying we in these streets, y'all. Hold on 1 second. We in the Hampton streets. That's what Bethany said. Let's play.
Amazing place because it's farm meets beach meets woods, and there are all kinds of people here. It's not only rich people. That's not a joke. Okay, there are all kinds of people. There is a big Latin community here. Big. There is a African American community here on the beach. Beautiful houses. I had a house there one summer.
Bethenny Frankel facing backlash for claiming the Hamptons are filled with not only rich people, but minorities too. The clip, which quickly went viral, had The View co-host Anna Navarro calling out the Real Housewives of New York alum for her racially charged comments. Newsflash, white people are not the only ones capable of having money. There are rich Black people and rich Latins, Anna tweeted in response. Other users on X followed in Anna's footsteps and called out Bethenny for her demographic breakdown. Because rich means white, responded one follower. Black people have always lived in the Hamptons, and yes, some of them are wealthy. She needs to stop, responded another. This isn't the first time the Skinny Girl founder's TikTok videos have gotten her in trouble, as she's previously admitted in past clips that she's at risk for getting canceled. Bethenny has yet to respond to the backlash, and a rep for the former Bravo celebrity didn't immediately return Page Six's request for comment.
So the Hamptons is an
print.
This chick is just she's just insane. Hold on 1 second. Let me go back. Let me stop sharing for a minute so I could come out of there. All right. Hold on 1 second, guys. Let me share again. Okay. Bethenny Frankel Why don't this stop? Okay. Bethany Frankel is facing backlash for claiming the Hamptons are filled with not only rich people, but minorities too. There are all kinds of people here. There's a big Latin community here, big. There's an African American community here on the beach. Beautiful houses, she said on TikTok. I had a house there one summer. Okay, that's Bethany. That's her and her foolery. The clip quickly went viral, with The View co-host Anna quickly calling out the Roni alum for her racially charged comments. Newsflash, white people are not the only ones capable of having money. There are rich Black people and rich Latins, she tweeted. Another ex formerly Twitter user followed in her footsteps and called out Frankel 53 for her demographic analysis. Because rich means white, responded one follower. Black people has always lived in the Hamptons. And yes, some of them are wealthy, responded another. She needs to stop. What happened to people not based on color or culture, just human beings, questioned another. Frankel has yet to respond to the backlash, and the ref for the former Bravo celebrity didn't immediately return page 6 request for a comment. This is hardly the first time the Skinny Girl founder's TikTok videos have gotten her into trouble, as she's previously admitted in previous clips that she's at risk for getting canceled. Fans slammed Frankel in September 2023 after she gifted a store cashier a $70 makeup palette because she couldn't afford it. When a fan asked why the employee couldn't make the purchase, Frankel explained because she's a cashier at TJ Maxx. That the Just Be with Bethany Frankel host upset many fans who called her out for her tone-deaf comment. That's ignorant. A cashier at TJ Maxx can afford it if they save it. Comes across entitled and rude. One user commented, with another added, Bethany tone deaf, stop it. Frankel's firm turned anonymous. Carol even called her out for her actions. Who sent this to me, LOL? I mean, stop this nonsense. So much to unpack, but I'm not getting paid to do this any longer. But here, one word, white savior complex. Rizdell tweeted over a video of the TikTok on Friday. This girl is out of her mind crazy. Leo, what are your thoughts?
Diva, my first question is why? Why did she feel as though she had to get on her phone and do her TikTok commentary? Who asked her? Who asked her to speak on the demographics of the Hamptons? What made her feel like she was? I mean, what is this? Like, why? Why is she doing that? I don't really understand who her audience is and who she think give a damn about what she think about the demographics at the Hamptons. That's it, girl. You ain't got no beach that you need to tip your toe in, take your selfies in your bikinis. You ain't got nothing else to do but talk about the demographics at the Hamptons. And I do really appreciate the way the folks came through and said, look, what are you saying? Only white people are rich? Because that is basically what she divided it. She said rich people, and then it's Black folks, and then it's Latin folks. So money is still green. The money don't always just belong to one demographic of people. Girl, shut up. Look, Bethenny Frankel people, get her phone. Get her phone and delete the TikTok app. Get her phone. Who her daughter is. Get your mama phone and get her off of TikTok. Because nobody is sending for you. So stop giving culture commentary. That's all.
Period. Thank you. In my opinion, you're up.
I don't expect that much from Bethenny anyway. Very dumb, very stupid, and always speaking out of both sides of her neck when don't nobody ask her nothing. She come to her TikTok to give her commentary on everything but herself. Okay, I don't know who's signing on to hear Bethenny talk, but to me, it's ignorance at its finest.
I appreciate you, in my opinion. Thank you. Felicia, you're up.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. I got no comment on the white girl foolery. I'm done.
Uh, Wayne, you're up. Are you there, Wayne? We can't hear you. I can't hear you. All right, Sebastian, you're up.
You know, Diva, it was just me and you on this train alone when everyone was saying, even some people who commented prior to me about Bethany being the savior. She's going to save all the housewives and reality stars at Bravo and form a union. And she's going to help Nene with her case. She's going to stand with her. This is what I remember hearing. Bethany has always been full of ish. Um, Ever since what she did to Luann, I could never like Bethany. But it's not just that. Bethany has always had problematic things. I'm shocked that no one notices. One time I watched What Happens Live. She said to Andy, and Kenya was there. It was New York and Roa that was on that night, and you know the after show and everything. And she was just like, "Well, you see, the Real Housewives of New York, we're authentic. We really talk about things. We really do things. But at Atlanta, what they do is like, oh, I'm just gonna pull you by your weave, girl, and I'm gonna do that. That's what she said. That's what she said. So you all thought that Bethany was going to help Black people by forming this union that would protect us, quote unquote. No, no, no. Bethany is not a good person, in my opinion. And we have to remember what she did to Sonny Hostin on The View, who went vacationing at the Hamptons. In Sonny's words, Bethany started her child, Sonny's child, son, was playing outside. Bethany had an issue and thought and wanted to be the mean neighbor and started yelling at her child and everything. And then Sonny had to say it like this: don't fight with children, fight with me. The thing is, Bethany's a problematic individual, and people try to make her seem as she's the face of she's the best housewife there ever is, because you know Bethany came on the Real Housewives of New York broke like nothing, and
Mhm.
made a way for herself. But meanwhile, she is one of the most problematic ones. And I'm going to say something controversial. Y'all all were like cancel Ramona, cancel Ramona. Bethany's way more problematic than Ramona will ever be.
Mm.
Bethany just got away with a lot of things. Bethany has gotten away with too many things. And it is a very scary thing, this narrative that she's trying to push. I've gone to the Hamptons. I know someone who lives in the Hamptons, and mind you, people keep thinking the Hamptons is just a rich area. No, it's a actual. Some people actually are working class individuals who live in the Hamptons. The rich people are the ones who really just vacation there. But there are people who are middle class people who truly live there, who truly have businesses there, and their businesses boom during the summer when everyone goes vacationing there. The Hamptons has always had Black people historically. The Hamptons, Sag Harbor, especially in the Hamptons, is very historically Black for many reasons. That's one of the first places in Long Island that allowed Black people to buy property. So this is completely BS what Bethany's trying to do. She clearly doesn't know anything. She thinks that she's smart and everything, you know, with her skinny girl and her whole empire and stuff. But in the words of Wendy Williams, Bethany has tried having a show and it failed. It failed after one season, and they just scrapped it off of TV. That's it, because they know they're tired of hearing her mess.
I appreciate you. Thank you, Sebastian. Katrina, you're up.
Bethany just need to stick to skinny pop and skinny cocktails, because the stuff that she's saying now is totally ridiculous. And I remember the thing that she did to Sonny as well. Um, she she just ridiculous. Like, Black people doesn't have any money. That's crazy. I think Jay Z them have a house out there in the Hamptons, but okay, they're not Black. Oh well. This lady is nuts. She just need to stick to skinny pop and skinny cocktails, because her brain is fried. That's all I got, Diva.
I appreciate you. E, you're up.
Well, hello. You know, I
I have an idea, and it may not be very popular, but um, I used to always think that it was an accomplishment to live and be able to vacation where there weren't a lot of us being represented. And my nana pulled me to the side one day and she said, "No, you should not enjoy going to neighborhoods where you are not embraced and welcomed." And I love that. And that is where I want to go with this message because um, Bethany is not lying about the demographics of the Hamptons. I mean, it is the majority white. And when she did her video, when she mentioned the Hispanic community, she looked at the camera and then her eyes kind of flipped it when she got to the black. So I feel like I think even she felt uncomfortable when she said that. And I think that she knew that she messed up. But Bethany is not a spokesperson of someone who is enlightened regarding what's going on in the community. If it's something to do with gossip, maybe she would have an opinion. Something to do with reality TV, maybe. But since Sebastian brought up Ramona, I remember when that situation happened, and they asked Bethany about it. And Bethany's quote was, "I think Ramona's been in and out of this whole machine. And one day, maybe she'll be able to explain herself in a manner that maybe she will be educated." And when we talk about things like that, she has critique for others, but she cannot perform herself. And so, I mean, hey, I see this comment on the screen. I agree. I just feel like instead of being upset, I feel like we should work hard to make our community as enjoyable and lavish and oh, I can't think of the word I want to use, but as relaxing as these other places because we should feel that way in our own communities and we don't.
Right. Thank you, E. Tay, you're up.
I said, Bethany girl, bye. That's all, Diva.
I appreciate you. Julius, you're up.
So let's call out the classism and the abyssism, because I just had this conversation with a friend of mine, and he wanted to drag his straight friend's girlfriend because she has 6 baby daddies, but it was the comment that he made about her children that upset me. But he thought he was better than her. And the reason why I say that is because Bethany thinks she's better than everybody and she knows everything. So let's call out the abyssism, the classism, the elitism. Here on YouTube, I follow a same-sex couple who owns a house, a middle-class house in the Hamptons. It's a gorgeous house. You know, it ain't a mansion. Bethany is still bitter that she's not getting that Bravo check. Let's just call it what it is. She's bitter and is starting to show. And she's also steadily racist. She's made these statements before. And she's always given a pass. And she thinks she knows everything. She don't. No one asked her to give any kind of opinion. And that's the same thing I shared with my friend of mine. No one asked you for your opinion, so don't give it. Because it's not warranted. And this is how I was raised. Ain't nobody better than me, and I am no better than anybody else. And nobody is better than Bethany, and she is no better than anybody else. She needs to come off of her high horse, and she needs to pull the stick out of her knee-high, delusional narcissist behind and get over herself. I said what I said. That's all.
Thank you. Wayne, you're up.
I don't know much about Bethany other than she created that skinny girl popcorn that I think you can get at Dollar Tree now. But usually when you're not relevant anymore, you do things like this. You know, it doesn't matter whether it's good or bad. people are talking like we are now. People talking about Bethenny Frankel. So it's happening. I think it's happening what she wants to happen. She's being talked about, and some of them don't care whether it's good or bad, long as they're being talked about. I'm done.
I appreciate you. Bethany needs help. I forgot who said it. I think it was Leo. You said somebody need to take her phone and delete the TikTok app. And I'm with you on that one. It needs to be deleted. And I have never been any place in this world that I have gone to. You have the good areas, you have the bad areas, you have the nice areas. You have the area where the rich people live, you have the area where the middle class live, and you have an area where the poor people live. And in said places, I've always seen that there's a mixed group of people. It's just insane to me that she would come out in her face and try to give us, I guess, history. She wants to call it, to let us know, like there's awareness. Like, guess what, people? There's Latins, there's African Americans, there's more than just rich white people in the Hamptons. And I looked at that thing and said, you don't say? You don't say? First of all, does she really think that we think that all the people that are working in, the service industry there, they happen to be uber rich and want to work in the service industry? I mean, it was just such a stupid statement. I just can't with her, and I'm sick of her. Her podcast needs to be shut down. She needs to be shut down, and she talked too much, and she's talking a whole lot about nothing. But we'll carry on and move into our next story. The next story, let's go into this. Yes, go ahead, Felicia.
Thank you. I don't have any comments still on Bethenny, but I'm thinking this might be a teaching moment. Some people may not be aware, for well over 400 years since we got here or were brought here, Black folks have had really nice beach places that they go to. And one of them is Highland Beach in Maryland, where I've had the good fortune to be. Other one is Martha's Vineyard. I don't know if folks heard about Martha's Vineyard.
You better talk to the people.
Well, this is an educational moment. I don't know if many of you heard, at least I heard when I was growing up and went to Peg Leg Bates, upstate New York. And there's a place called Hines Point down near Washington, D.C. So these places that I have just mentioned have been places where Black Americans have gone to vacation for well over 100 years. Highland Beach down near Maryland was started by Frederick Douglass and his son because they weren't welcomed in the Hamptons. And so his father bought some land off of the Chesapeake Bay beach there. And if you go down there right now, or you Google it, what's those, Vivo, whatever, you can rent a nice house down there off the water and be on the beach and barbecue. And most of the people look like me. And I think most of you look like me as well. And it's not overly expensive, and it's a wonderful place to visit. So for those who didn't know, now you know.
Come on now. Talk to them. Talk to the people. All right, listen, we're going to roll right into this Diddy story. It's a lot. That's all I can say right now. It's a lot. So let me go ahead and share my screen. So Diddy reportedly apologized to former Vibe exec after allegedly threatened to see her dead in the trunk of a car. The music mogul allegedly threatened Vibe magazine's former editor-in-chief over the cover dispute in 1997, according to a New York Times article. Okay. Sean Diddy Combs allegedly threatened a former Vibe magazine editor-in-chief in 1997. On Friday, July 12, the New York Times published an account from former Vibe editor Danielle Smith, 59, in which she recorded being allegedly intimidated by the music mogul, 54, over his December 1997, January 1998 double issues cover. According to Smith, a few days after shooting Combs' cover photos, he asked to see the magazine before publication, which was reportedly against policy. After I told him no, we heard that he planned to come to our office and force us to show him what we chosen and to make us choose something else if he didn't like what he saw, the veteran journalist claimed. Smith then alleged that a safety plan was put in place for her in the event that Combs visited Vive offices, as he already had a reputation for shaking tables after being found guilty of criminal mischief in 1996 for threatening a New York Post photographer with a pow pow. Also amid rumors that he allegedly attacked a woman at Bad Boy Record offices. When Combs did eventually make his way to the Vive's New York City office building, Smith recalled being put in a cab home to dodge the producer's queries about his magazine cover pre-prints. The next day, the editor claimed that she received a phone call from Combs, who still insisted on seeing his advance covers. She denied the request, writing a Vive's policy. Is not what we do. But Combs reportedly responded with a threat in which he allegedly told Smith that he would see her dead in the trunk of a car. After demanding he take back the comment, Combs allegedly replied, "Take what back?" before adding with a vile laugh, okay? Smith remembered threatening legal action against Combs for his words and claimed that within 2 hours of speaking to her personal attorney, the mogul faxed over an apology. Diddy refused to comment on the record regarding the situation to the New York Times. People reached out to representatives for Combs for a comment. Smith noted that her 1997 story about Combs' threat was also mentioned in her 2022 book, Shine Bright, a very personal history of Black women in pop. Per her New York Times article, she and the rapper crossed paths in the years since professionally, reunited in 2006 for another Vibe cover story. She also wrote of an alleged encounter between Combs and his ex, Kim Porter, in 1998, in which he reportedly, I've lost my track here, in which he reportedly popped up on the late model, the mother of his 4 children, who died in 2018, at a New York City restaurant where she was grabbing cocktails with friends. According to Smith, the "I'll Be Missing You" performer demanded that Porter hand over her baguette purse and turned it upside down, snatching up her belongings off the table while saying, "You ain't got no business in here. You need to be at home with those kids." Smith's New York Times account comes as Combs is currently facing multiple lawsuits alleging SA, abuse, R, and ST. Most recently, one former adult film star, Miss English, that was filed on July 3rd. To date, at least 7 people have come forward with allegations about the star. After ex-girlfriend Cassandra Cassie Ventura filed a bouncing lawsuit, now settled, against him in November. According to a recent report from the NBC News, Combs is said to be the focus of an ongoing federal criminal investigation looking into his sex trafficking allegations. Per the outlet, familiar sources said the producer's legal team was notified about the probe by federal authorities in the Southern District of New York. The insiders also claim that a federal grand jury is hearing evidence as part of the investigation, but it's not yet clear if formal charges will be brought. Combs has previously denied all allegations made against him. Now, the Times article was much longer. It had more detail in it. I want to go there because I want to point out a couple of things in this article. And then you can, I'll attach it to the description so you can read the whole thing if you like. She said, "I knew Diddy for years. What I now remember haunts me." So a thing happened between Sean Combs and me, and this is the same young lady from Vibe. Unlike what he has been accused of over the last 8 months, what occurred between us was not sexual; it was professional, demonstrated of the way dynamic and domineering men moved in our heyday. Combs and I worked together a lot. Competed in our way. So often I thought I came out on top. I was mistaken. I had reason to fear for my life. What happened was insidious. It broke my brain. I forgot the worst of it for 27 years. It was July 1997, in the faded smoke of the murders of Tupac Shakur and the notorious B.I.G. I was named editor-in-chief of a music magazine called Vibe, started by Quincy Jones and Time Inc. In 1992, the magazine chronicled Black music and culture with rigor and beauty, 10 issues a year for an audience that was relentlessly underserved. When I took over, we thought hip-hop might have died with our heroes, and we were determined not only to keep it alive, but also to give it cultural credit it was due. Hip hop was both in mourning and in marketing meetings. Combs, Biggie's creative partner and label boss, was the personification of the economy. His Bad Boy Records was having $100 million year, much due to the work of Biggie and Mace, as well as Combs' own debut album, No Way Out, which was anchored by the blockbuster Biggie tribute, I'll Be Missing You, featuring Faith Evans. Other singles is All About the Benjamins and Been Around the World functioned as a score for hip hop's megawatt moment. It commercialed evolution and international expansion. No Way Out will go on to sell over 7 million copies. So I wanted Combs on the cover of Vibe's December 1997, January 1998 double issue. And I wanted him to wear white feathered wings. My point of reference was a poster of Heaven Can Wait, a 1997 film starring Warren Beatty. The movie is about a quarterback who dies before his time and reincarnated as a callous billionaire. Vibe's working cover line for Sasha Jenkins' article was the good, the bad, and the puffy. Not so elegant, but it would work if the fashion director and I got Combs, then known as Puffy or Puff Daddy, to put on angel wings. And if we also got a shot that looked even slightly mischievous, we could do a split run of the cover, one with heavenly signifiers and another with hellish ones. Possible cover line, bad boy, what you gonna do? And you want to know what? Bad boy is an understatement for his legacy, okay? The photo shoot took place in Manhattan in September 1997. I had probably said hello to Combs at an event, but the shoot was the first time I was around him for an extended period. Either it was a crowded set, or I just felt claustrophobic. I wore yoga pants and an oversized t-shirt. I remember wanting to minimize my bust more than my bra was already doing. I remember knowing that as a Black woman, I was in a no-win situation. To fail was to live up to my male boss's low expectations, and to succeed was to invite their resentment. The day Combs was belligerently compliant, we finally got him to shrug on the white feathered wings. He cooperated up to a point, but eventually his controlling ways took hold. A few days later, Combs wanted to see the Vibe covers before they went to press. It wasn't our policy to show covers before publications. So after I told him no, we heard he planned to come to our office and force us to show him what we chosen and to make us choose something else if he didn't like what he saw. I'm sure I was concerned, but my priority was getting the issue to the printer on time. There was a vague talk about Combs beating a woman at Bad Boy offices. In 1996, he was found guilty of criminal mischief for threatening a New York Post photographer with a gun. Combs was also busy denying that he had something to do with the 1996 killing of Tupac Shakur. In September 1997, Combs had a reputation for shaking tables. I reconciled the rumors with his relevance, and the math was ugly and simple. I had to have him on the cover. So a few Vibe employees put together a plan to keep me safe if he chose to visit that day. I was in my office on the third floor of the building and on the boring corner of Lexington and 32nd Street. A few doors away from me, Vibe's research chief, Ava Chen, was the managing editor. Jesse Washington in his office with his back to the door. Jesse looked over her head as if someone was behind her. Jesse stood up. He's 6'4", and Ava saw him trying to make himself even taller, as though he was squaring off. So she turned toward the door and saw Combs with two security dudes. Combs asked, "Where's Danielle?" The receptionist had already notified other colleagues that Combs had walked in the editorial bullpen. As he and his two associates looked into various cubicles and offices, many co-workers eased into mine. Paper proofs of the cover story and both the angelic and devilish covers were on my desk. I grabbed the unruly stack. Staff members shuttled me from office to office. They finally got her downstairs. Then an executive took the pages from her, flagged the taxi, put her in a yellow cab, and she went home to Brooklyn. The next day, though, I was right back in the office. My assistant received a call on my line. It was Puffy. She said, I got my mind right and picked up. He was still on message. He wanted to see the covers. I was still on message. It's not what we do. It was then that Combs told me, I retold hundreds times over the years, that he would see me dead in the trunk of a car, not missing a beat. I told him he needed to take that threat back. Take it back, I said, sounding as if I were 10. Take what back? Then, with a vile laugh, take it back now, I said, or I'm calling my lawyer and you're going to jail. He said, I know where you are right now, right on Lexington. I called my personal lawyer. I did not know what he said to Combs. Within 2 hours, Combs faxed over an apology. One of my male bosses was furious that I had not involved him. Combs had called him to complain that I sicked my lawyer on him as if someone wasn't playing fair. Soon after those menacing encounters, I walked into work one morning to find my staff members tamping down panic. A couple of servers, which back then were as big as end tables and twice as heavy, had been stolen. And the scuttlebutt was that the theft was an inside job, that someone on Vibe's publishing side had let the movies from Bad Boy in. It was almost time to send pages to the printer, and the whole issue was saved on those servers. All the editorial changes, all the pages with the advertising adjacencies that have been paid for by clients, gone. In response to fact-checking inquiries, Combs via representatives would not comment on the records for this piece. Now, there's a piece I want to get to in here. I always remember the threatening call. I mentioned it in my memoir, Shine Bright, though I got wrong the reason for his fixation, but I repressed the rest. The only reason I knew the details is a chance meeting I had with McDowell, artist residency in May. Ava Chen, who is now an author and professor of creative nonfiction, was also there. I hadn't seen her in decades. Ava asked me early in the residency if I ever going to write about Vibe. I said yes, and she said good. Then just before I left, I mentioned that I was writing about Combs and told her that he said he would see me dead in the trunk of a car. And the previous month, accusations of his serial abuse of women, which had been rumored for years, had surfaced. And I was thinking about my professional relationship with him. I asked her if she remembered the tense situation over her turkey club. Ava said, I absolutely remember. She wasn't privy to the phone conversation, but she knew other details. She told me my story. I don't remember being shuttled from office to office. Shuttled was Ava's word. The entire memory has been removed from my mind, like the servers that were stolen from the offices. I wanted someone else to validate the story. So from the rear garden of McDowell's main building, I FaceTimed Jesse Washington, and those people were kind of reminding her of the story. There's a piece I want to get to where she talks about how, this has been happening. It's a good piece. It's very long, so I'm not going to read this whole thing, but there's a piece where she talks about how, unfortunately, this thing has happened, throughout history forever. She also talks about how, throughout the years, she did see him. She had to work with him. You're going to see pictures of him kissing on the cheek and stuff like that. She only did it because she felt she had to. She said, I've been thinking about those two pictures lately. All the photos of me and Combs together. It's bizarre to see myself smiling in pictures with someone accused of such heinous crimes. In November 2023, Cassandra Ventura, who performs as Cassie, sued Combs under the New York Adult Survivors Act, claiming that he argued her, abused her, as trafficked her over a span of a decade. They settled. In the ensuing months, Combs has been the subject of 7 lawsuits. They're talking about all. She talks about that in the past times, Combs. There's a piece I really want you to see. I meant to mark it. I'm going to have to come back to it because I really want to read it to you. It's so insightful that I really want you to see this and hear this. but I have to find it. And when I find it, I will share the screen again, but I'm going to go around to the people as I look for. Oh, here it is. I do see it. I see the piece that I wanted. Okay. So she said, there's no safe space for an ambitious woman, not anywhere, and definitely not in the entertainment business. Men keep it dangerous so they can keep it theirs. Once a media executive bullied me in a bar, and despite my protest, made it clear that he was going to walk me to my hotel room. It was obvious that he wanted sex. And his posting nostril was resentment about the job I had. He had the focused look of a person who believes you have stolen something from him, and that something is actually you. That happened to me in the mid-90s, but it has been going on in pop music since forever. Louis McKay physically and financially abused Billie Holiday. Ike Turner physically and emotionally abused Tina Turner. Ted White beat Aretha Franklin. Jerry Lee Lewis married his 13-year-old cousin, who when filing for divorce more than a decade later in 1970, claimed that she had been the subject to every type of physical and mental abuse imaginable. Both David Ruffin and James Brown beat Tammy Terrell. The convicted killer, Phil Spector, locked Ronnie Spector in their home. Miles Davis' marriage to the funk singer Betty Davis reportedly ended because of what she called his violent temper. Donna Summer was abused by her boyfriend Peter. Dr. Dre beat the singer Michel'le and the journalist Dee Barnes. Chris Brown hit Rihanna more than a dozen women have been. Chris Brown hit Rihanna. More than a dozen women have accused Russell Simmons of sexual assault, and in some cases are. All of which he denies. He has also denied that he moved to Bali to avoid extradition. L.A. Reid stepped down as chief executive of Epic Records following a 2017 accusation of S.H. by an assistant. A lawsuit filed last year accusing him of S.A. harassment. Tory Lanez shot Megan Thee Stallion. Last month, the producer Diplo was accused of disturbing X images and videos of women without her consent. His lawyer cast doubt on the accusation. And then there are countless women who remain unnamed or choose to be anonymous or decide not to report at all. Whew. This has been going on forever. Leo, your thoughts?
That's the part right there. That last bit that you read, I'm clutching my pearls because it is so true. It is so true. And keep in mind now, all the women that was named, these men came into fame and fortune on the abuse of these women.
Yes.
They roll on the backs and step on the neck of these women. Use them and abuse them for their own fame and fortune. A lot of them, like Terry White, the husband of Aretha Franklin, the strength of a woman is a real thing. It's a real thing because these women still rose up to greatness.
Yes.
But just to think of all the abuse that these women suffered through countless times. This the record labels. Because see, it's a thing out there that Diddy was the one that would kowtow to the record labels and get the cheap deals. While they made billions, the artist made pennies and he made millions. Yeah. And he did that through threatening and abusing people. And it's people that look like us, from the editors of magazines, from producers, from artists, from sound engineers, threatening all these people with violence. And I'm sick of Diddy. I am so sick of him, but I am very encouraged by the fact that this young lady so articulately broke down the hierarchy of this abuse to women and how it's been allowed all these years. I'm glad Megan Thee Stallion stood up. and said, okay, y'all dragging me in these streets, but I'm still going to see this man charged.
Come on now.
I'm glad they speaking up. I'm glad they saying something. And hopefully the younger generations will understand that, look, your power is not with these men. Your power is with your talent. And you don't have to allow yourself to be abused, be threatened, to be the over actual advances to you. And this woman also stated that this man that was being overly aggressive with her, demanding that he escort her to her hotel because it's something that he wanted, but she's seen deep down, really, he was doing a power play. He was actually saying, what I want from you aggressively is what I think that you're good for, because you got the job that I feel like I deserve.
Woo.
And they use this abuse and this threat of violence to keep themselves in power. And I'm done. I'm sick of it. I'm off y'all line because I'm getting ready to start using bad words.
I know. You know what, Brown Eyes? I think she didn't name the others because she named this one she knows about. Sometimes we can only talk about what we know, right? Maybe she doesn't know too much about the others, but she know about these individuals that are in her own culture, and that's why she named them. But we know there's many others. Yeah, she did name Phil Spector. In my opinion, you're up.
This demon has caused trauma for so many people that he can't even begin to say he's sorry and us to believe it. When he wrote those lines, can't stop, won't stop, he meant that from the depths of his soul. He cannot stop, and he didn't want to stop. He didn't stop. I don't know what makes a man this demonic and this evil that you will terrorize everybody you come into contact with.
Woo.
It is not one person that has been around this man that can honestly say that he hasn't done something to them. That's the power of money that makes him that evil. But that demon was evil even before he had the money. I believe it deep down in my soul. He was born a predator.
Oh my God. Whew. Oh, thank you. In my opinion, you said he was born that way. Katrina, you up?
Oh gosh, this is totally ridiculous. This man is a deviant, and he's never going to change. He's been that way from, I guess, from childhood through college years and whatsoever. I'm quite sure he didn't want to wear the white wings because he need the black ones. He's just, that's sad. It's totally sad that he think that by his word he can do anything, and he has been that way for a long time, and he has gotten away with it for so long. So he just think that whatever he say is God. It's going to be what I want. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. So he make his own rules, and I'm glad she stood up. I'm glad the company stood behind her. And like we said, Diddy just gonna get his just due when he get it. That's all I got, Diva.
I appreciate you. Thank you, Katrina. My screen shifted a little bit. Felicia, did you speak?
No, Diva.
Okay, go ahead.
You know, the day of reckoning is coming for Mr. Combs.
Mm-hmm.
I think we are all awaiting the criminal charges, but we're waiting on the criminal. And I have absolute confidence that those charges will be here before the new year gets here. I am so sorry that this woman, who's now a middle-aged woman, has come up with her story from 30 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine if she perhaps wrote about it then? She's writing for a magazine. Quincy Jones always comes across as ethical. Okay, I know on a down low he ain't, but that's how he comes across in this industry.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's too many people as powerful as Mr. Jones, so I can't imagine that if she went with him, and said something that he would have allowed her to, but maybe not. I hope people hear her story who are going to interviews tomorrow and looking for careers in the entertainment industry. She's in a written media, so she's not an artist, she's not a model, she's not an actress, she's a journalist.
Mm-hmm.
And look how she was treated.
Mm.
And at that time, he didn't even have all that power. He was on his way up. And that's how he grew to be such a monster. Nobody told him stop. And no, he just keeps going.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming to an end. And for those who are believers, we know the darkness can never put out the light. Never. It's all in God's time. Time's up, Mr. Combs. And Mama, sorry about what's going on, but if you know what I'm saying, if you was in there doing something or the other, time up for you too.
Oh, good God. Who, child? You ain't lying though, Felicia. You ain't lying. I just feel for her. Cause Mom, I'm waiting for the written official word on the Mama Combs story. But they said Mama Combs has a lot to do with this situation. A lot. I'm waiting on the written word. Now, let me say this in this article too. She acknowledged and she talked about how unfortunately this man outside of the sinister part of him, she said is a genius. Tay, you're up.
I said game is over for Diddy because one, you don't care about nobody. You just only want power and fame. And number two, you shouldn't put your hand on a woman. A man never put his hand on a woman. And three, you going down, Diddy. You still going down. I hope the criminal charge go get you. Your karma is coming for you. That's all, Diva.
I appreciate you, Tay. Sebastian, you're up.
I'm not surprised. Diddy is he's a dog. He's a dog, and everyone says lock him up and everything, but no, he needs to be put down. Diddy needs to be put down. Locking him up, there's probably a chance he'll probably get out. We need to have him down. He's not capable of roaming within society again. I don't think we can rehabilitate this man. This man needs to be put down. And I truly feel for these victims. It's sad that it's very unfortunate that they were going through these events. This is sad. And don't come for the mamas unless we have evidence and concrete proof. We're going to leave the mama alone. We're going to leave the mama alone. These mamas have unconditional love for their children. We're going to leave the mama alone till we have concrete evidence and proof. That's it.
Mm-hmm. E, you're up.
I cannot allow myself to be consumed by the darkness surrounding Sean because I've been coming over here and telling everybody about 13.2 million men for the past 2 years, I think it is.
Oh, God.
And before y'all were mad at Diddy, I've been complaining and trying to tell you how the men are showing up in our neighborhoods, not just on the TV, in our neighborhoods. I think Leo said something, or maybe that was Felicia, about Diddy not even having that power just of yet and still carrying on as a menace. And that's what a lot of men do in our community. They don't even have power. They don't even have money. All they do is just mistreat women just because. And each time I do it, there's always a handbag of people. Well, it's not just the black man. So, I hear you. And listen, when we talk about these topics, even with Chris Brown, because that last part that you read, Diva, that's things that we have talked about, and I know for a fact, if it's not all of those men, about 9 out of 10 of them I've mentioned. And when it comes to Chris, I'm quick to remind y'all, no ma'am, he's canceled still. And I think the only one who rides on the car with me against Chris Brown is, in my opinion. And as it relates to this story, I think I'm just overwhelmed because this thing happened 30 years ago. And I understand everyone has a story to tell. And I understand that doesn't minimize how hurtful or triggering it is now that he's in the limelight for, his past transgressions. But what I really want them to do is to stop luring us back in with these exasperating emotions and stories, these sad stories, because it's like they're trying to breadcrumb us with testimonials from these women from back in the day until they bring out the indictment. And I don't want to hear anything else about him until those charges come down, because it's they're playing with the emotions of women. Because yes, this woman wanted to tell her story, but does she not realize that all of us, when we read that lengthy and detailed report, that we're going through emotions as well? You're triggering us as well. We're reliving our own experiences by you recanting yours. And then when the trial comes, we're going to do this all over again. I don't know. I got to take a step back from this.
Thank you, E. Q, I appreciate the super chat. No matter what, folks keep catering to him. That is true. For decades, there must be some ownership from the industry for that. We didn't know. They did. Oh, Q. Oh my God. You hit the nail on the head. We didn't know they did. See, the difference with this young lady's story is she called her lawyer when this man threatened her in real time. She called her lawyer and said, listen, you ain't playing this game with you. You will go to jail. I believe in my head, and this is just Diva talking on my beliefs. I believe in my head, because when he threatened her in real time, she didn't back down, and she called her lawyer, and her lawyer called his people, and he had to fax over that apology. He knew that she wasn't the one. But still, that situation traumatized her to the point where she said, my brain broke. After they ushered me out from room to room, she said, I didn't even remember that piece. People had to tell me that that's what happened that day. They got her in that car and sent her home to Brooklyn. This man called on the phone. He said, I know where you at. You in Lexington. And you will be dead in the car. She said, take it back. So there's a little difference with her story. Because in real time, just that thing of her calling her lawyer and saying that to that brother, you will go to jail. He knew not to mess with her like that. And she probably saved herself from a lot more sinister stuff from him because he knew she wasn't the one. So that's when I read that. I read that thing about 2 times. And I caught a lot from it. And other pieces that I caught from it, it was like Q said, the freaking industry was protecting him. Because when that boss came in that room and told her, you should have got me involved first, what he really was saying to her, why you call your lawyer? Because Diddy called him complaining like a little kid. Then her boss came in there, but her boss took it lightly because her boss knew too that she ain't want to be played with because she will call her lawyer. So her boss tried to take it off like he wanted to protect her. Why didn't you tell me first? I encourage y'all to read that whole thing. It's laced with a lot of stuff. But a lot of individuals that find themselves in this vulnerable situation, if you dig back in their childhood, something happened and something happened in hers. and something happened to her in the industry, but it was by the hands of somebody else. Now, I think the world can be sinister, but I think that industry is a whole nother dark black hole. And you also, I read, I don't know if y'all caught it, where she said, if I was to succeed with this cover, the people that be was going to be mad. If I failed, they would have expected that and they would have got me for that. So she was in a lose-lose situation. And many of you in your everyday regular work, if you succeed, the people gonna come for you. If you fail, they're gonna come for you. And you can't let your light shine too bright because it will offend the others. So you got to figure out on a daily basis, how do I have a balance where I don't fail because I won't get fired and I'll still get my raise, but I don't do too much and show everything that I really got, because then the people going to get jealous and they're going to come for me. This is real stuff. So unlike the ex-porn P-star, corn star that just sued him, her story is different. And I know we getting inundated with this stuff, but what we got to do is we got to translate this stuff to real life, because this same stuff is happening every single day. It's happening to the people in the Target. It's happening to people in the Walmart. These men are out of control. There's a story out there now. This is a real story. I want to say it happened in the dollar store. This man in broad daylight in the store, and I don't know what wording I could use, but from his private area,
relieved himself.
Thank you. In my opinion, he relieved himself, and we're not talking about pee on the leg of a young lady, and he ended up having to turn himself in. He relieved himself. This is in public. These men are out of control. And if we want to go with E and say the 13.2, the 13.2 is out of control. Thank you, Charlene, the Dollar Tree. So this is not just happening in this industry. It's happening on our level too. If you look at the statistics, you can have a male with the same education as a female, and they both have everything the same education, same level of experience, and they will get paid more. Julius, you're up. Did I come to you already?
No.
Okay.
This young lady was descriptive, but I want to give my thanks to Miss Felicia, because she just doubled down and gave the facts of what I've been saying for a while. Diddy's time is coming. We don't know when, but it is coming. And these lawsuits, especially Cassie's lawsuit, was just the start of everything. I'm taking his mom out of the equation. Let's talk about this man. He was like this even in college, whooping his girlfriend around like a rag doll.
Allegedly,
like she was a child. We all read up here the Rolling Stone article. That is still in my head. Still in my head. But this young lady, she didn't hesitate. She like, oh, you want to be on the rah-rah with me? Okay, well, let me call Mr. Legal. So then when Mr. Legal picked up, he's like, so, you want to be on the rah-rah with my client? What's good? And what happened? He backed down like the punk, narcissistic fool he is. He doesn't like dealing with Mr. Legal. That's why his buffoon son is attempting to try but failed at trolling. Like Cat Williams said, and we said this before, this is the year of exposure. He said
Appreciate
it.
you.
He
Yeah,
said it.
thank you. Thank you, Julius. Emmanuel, you're up.
Ooh, that was a very chilling story, very
Yes.
disturbing, very dark. But I want to give credit to this lady, to Cassie, to all the victims that are coming out there. It doesn't matter if it's uncomfortable for us to hear, but we need to be hearing these stories because this is reality. This is what these people have been doing behind closed doors. So I have no mercy for Diddy. Sorry, Sebastian. I have no mercy for the mom either because she created a monster. Monsters aren't born, they're created. So I have no mercy for none of them. And I just want to share a quick verse, if I may. It says, "For there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing concealed that will not be made known and brought to light." So his time's up. That's all.
I appreciate you. Just to get a clear picture of her, beautiful. Hold on, wait for it to come through. They said another one. Diddy reportedly told Vibe editor-in-chief Danielle Smith that he would put her dead body in the trunk of a car at the cover dispute. The things we have to go through. The things we do to each other. Very sad. Let's continue on and roll right into our last story. This particular mother, let me just make sure I pull up the right, guys, pull up the right story here. Okay, I think I have it. Yeah, I do. Hold on one second. Let me share screen. If y'all not able to hear it, I'm gonna stop playing it. The video is low and there's no way for me to make it higher, but let's see what we can hear. But I'll go into it. So Amon charged with murder, cruelty after son found dead, Tyler crawling in highway ditched. Okay. The suspect mother details the last time she saw her grandchildren and the single chilling photo she got from her daughter before one was found in a lake behind a welcome center and the other crawling along the highway. The mother of two children found within miles of one another, one dead and both abandoned, is now facing multiple charges, including murder and cruelty. Authorities in Louisiana have charged Aaliyah Jack, 25, with second-degree murder for the death of her 4-year-old son, Legend, and cruelty to a juvenile for what happened to her 1-year-old son, Kentrell. Kentrell. She is being held on a $9.1 million bond in Mississippi while fighting extradition to Louisiana. Jack's mother, Consuela, detailed her final moments with her daughter and grandchildren with the Louisiana advocate. She explained that she's been helping take care of the children along with their paternal grandmother. According to the advocate, she met up with Aaliyah on Saturday to spend time with her and her children, but her daughter then fled with the kids. She tried repeatedly to call her, but never got a return call. On Sunday, though, she did get one message from Aaliyah. She sent me a picture of a car in some bushes that kind of looked like it was wrecked. Kinsella told the outlet, "I was confused, so I called and could not reach her." Legends Jack body was found in a lake behind the Vinton Welcome Center in Louisiana on Monday. There was no evidence of foul play, and police are still awaiting autopsy report results to determine his cause of death, which could affect the charges against Aaliyah. On Tuesday morning, a truck driver noticed a small toddler crawling in a ditch alongside the Interstate 10, moving toward the highway. Thanks to a tip from the family that the boy who drowned in the lake had a little brother who was also missing. They were able to identify the toddler as Kentrell Jack. Aaliyah Andrak, 25, was later found at a train station in Mississippi and picked up by the police department there. Initially, she was charged with failing to report a missing child because they did not know everything that happened at that time. I'm going to play this report right here. Let's listen in. I hope y'all can hear it.
Okay. Thank y'all for being here today. I want to give you an update as to where we stand right now on our investigation. Yesterday, July the 8th, Sheriff's Office received the call. Uh, there was a body located in the water behind the Benton Welcome Center uh, at the border, at the Texas-Louisiana border. Our Marine Division responded. They recovered a body. It appeared to be a young child, adolescent child. It turns out that uh, it it was a 4-year-old boy, African American male. Uh, that we received some information yesterday from a family member that they had not seen some family members, and they felt that uh, this one of the child that we pulled from the water may have been one of their family members. So after further investigation, it was learned that the child was last seen with his mother, Aaliyah Jack, 25 years old, of Lake Charles, and his 1-year-old brother. After further investigation, detectives issued what we call a BOLO, which is be on the lookout for, to other law enforcement agencies. Be on the lookout for a certain type of a vehicle and Jack. So a warrant was obtained for Jack's arrest. It was signed by Judge Tony Fazio with the bond of $300,000, charging her with failure to report a missing child. Jack was located in Mississippi uh, without the 1-year-old. So we learned last night that there were 2 children and only one body was recovered from from behind the Welcome Center. So we were in the process, our Marine Division, going out there this morning and searching the body of water uh, behind the Benton Welcome Center. Uh, just to go back on the timeline, yesterday at 3 p.m. we received the call. At 8 p.m. yesterday, we sent out a media release in an attempt to identify this young kid because we had no clue who he was. At 9:30 p.m., we were able to identify the child as the 4-year-old last seen with his mother, Aaliyah Jack, and the 1-year-old. At 9:48 p.m., we issued the BOLO and later issued the arrest warrant. Jack was located in Mississippi by the Meridian PD and was arrested for failure to report a missing child. The bond on Jack was $300,000 by Judge Fazio. So we were in the process of moving assets out to Benton to search the body of water to see if we could locate the 1-year-old. At 9 a.m. this morning, the sheriff's office received a call about a baby in the ditch on I-10 eastbound. We were able to positively identify the baby as the missing 1-year-old. Detectives are currently continuing their investigation. We have detectives in Mississippi hoping to conduct interviews. We will release more information when the time comes. And we looked at this 1-year-old as our miracle baby because he was still alive. Unbelievable. This kid spent 2 days out in the weather on the side of the highway. thank God that trucker seen him. Uh, when you look at the video, here he was, crawling toward the highway. So we are so thankful for this trucker that seen this baby this morning and immediately pulled over on the side of the road and contacted 911. We also want to thank the Meridian Police Department. Those people over there have been over backwards to help us. And it was through their efforts that we were able to arrest Aaliyah Jack. And so our investigation is still going on at this point. We still have a lot of work to do. But I can promise you, this sheriff's office is going to commit every resource that we have in order to bring justice. We're thankful that the baby has been turned over to DCF. They took the baby to the hospital and checked it out, and it's amazing that after 2 days, this 1-year-old kid is crawling around on the interstate in the ditch. So, like I said, we refer to him as our miracle baby, and it's a miracle he's here. He's still here. So I'll be glad to answer some questions, some things I may not be able to reveal to you because our investigation is still ongoing. I'll be more than glad to try to answer any questions you have.
What's the condition of the 1-year-old baby, if you're able to talk about that at all?
The condition is very good. I mean, he was out there for 2 days, crawling around. He had quite a few insect bites. But you know what? He was in the ambulance, drinking water, sitting up. So he's in good spirits.
What's the mother's connection to Meridian, Mississippi? You said that she was located there.
That's just where we was able to track her down to. She was at a train station trying to get out of town, and so we were very fortunate. And like I said, thanks to Meridian PD and good police work on our part, that we were able to locate her.
Now, do y'all know the cause of the death of the 4-year-old?
Not at this time. The body has to go to Beaumont, and they have to perform an autopsy. So we don't know the exact cause of death, but we're anxiously waiting that report.
Does Miss Jack have any other children that you know of?
Other than these two, that's the only two that I know about.
Does she have any prior criminal history?
It's very minor. Very minor.
And do we know anything about the father? Or
I think we've met with the father, Frank. Yeah, we've met with the father this morning, and apparently they weren't together as a couple.
And he was the father of the 4-year-old and?
I'm not completely sure about that, but I know he was the father of the 1-year-old and the 4-year-old. The 4-year-old, not the 1-year-old. Okay. So he was the father of the 4-year-old. And let me say this, I have to give credit to our detective division. Those guys, worked all day yesterday, and we get this call at 3:00 yesterday. And they worked all into the night until 4 and 5 o'clock this morning around the clock. This case was a top priority for our office, and I want to give them credit. They did a tremendous job. And, it takes a whole group of people to conduct an investigation, and they worked their butts off yesterday. And they need to be commended. Any other questions? All right. Thank you all for coming.
Sorry, y'all. They said we call him our miracle baby because it's a miracle he's still alive. the sheriff said, okay, he's recovering. We're also thankful for the trucker that saw the baby this morning and immediately pulled over on the side of the road and called 911. He was emotional, this officer. You know, these officers and a lot of these EMT workers and just people in emergency rooms, they see so much. They see so much. So clearly getting emotional during the Tuesday morning press conference. The sheriff continued, this kid spent 2 days out in the weather on the side of the highway. Thank God that the trucker saw him. When you look at the video, there he was crawling towards the highway. According to authorities, the King Trail was checked out at a nearby hospital. Aside from some bug bites, he was in good shape. He was released on Wednesday and is currently in state custody. Our investigation is still ongoing. We still have a lot of work to do, but I can promise you that the sheriff's office is going to commit every resource we have in order to bring justice, said the sheriff. Deputies in Louisiana and Mississippi are working together on the case. Our heart goes out to the family members of these two children, he added in a statement posted to their Facebook page. Just a sad, horrific story. In my opinion, your thoughts?
This story made me cry because those are very young babies.
Mm.
And I can't believe this mama. I really can't believe these mamas. And it's so hard seeing these stories. Every time I'm seeing them, my heart is breaking because these kids didn't ask to be here. And if y'all can't take care of these kids, then at least drop them off at a safe haven spot, a fire department, a hospital, a church. Don't leave these babies in the woods and the waters and do all rude and cruel stuff to these kids. That is oh my God.
Very sad. I appreciate you, in my opinion. Felicia, you're out.
Okay, so I have a lot of feelings here. First and foremost, children must be loved and protected. So, what comes with that? We really need to know whether or not we, females, want to bear children. Because when things happen, where are their fathers?
Mm.
Now, I was listening intently, and the sheriff was asked about the father. And he said, well, the father was here this morning. He's the father of the 4-year-old that passed away. But if I heard you right in the beginning of the story, her mother had custody of the children and she was at a supervised visit. Am I correct?
Yes, that's how I read it. Yeah, that's what I'm taking from it. Yep. And then she ran off with them.
She ran off with the children.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the 4-year-old allegedly had a father, but he wasn't available, able, capable. Yeah. I really want whoever listens and hears my voice, have your children because you want them. This mother had a break. It's called a breakdown. You can have a breaking point. You can have a breakthrough or a breakdown. Something has happened here. Her bond is a ridiculous amount. I don't even think they held El Chapo to some $1 million bond. Let's get real here. She needs some medical intervention. I'm sorry for the loss of her son. I'm sure she is too. And the grandmother who let her grab the kids, knowing what the situation was. It took her quite some time to report it.
Yeah.
That baby's gone. But the father showing up the next day don't do me no good. Nope. So I'm holding them all accountable. That's right, Sebastian. Grandmama, the daddy, and the mother. Everybody. I'm holding them all accountable. This reminds me of that story with the young boy, little Dirk's son, outside. I said the grandmother, the mother, stepdaddy, and the daddy, everybody needs to be held accountable. These tragedies are going to continue to happen until we can self-define what we want and what we don't want. I'm just, I just thank God it wasn't me, and it's not my grandchildren. Okay, it's beyond horrific. It's so cruel, so cruel. And where's Daddy? Home watching something on the TV. Yeah, okay. I'm done, Diva.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Tay, you're up.
The mama should be ashamed of herself. You left this 1 years old baby on the road. What if he get bitten by a snake or alligator on the road? Thank God. Thank for the miracle for God to have his angel to look over this baby right here. Praise the Lord and hallelujah. Because if this baby it would be here, it'd be another one too. Just like that 4 years old baby who been gone. And this remind me the movie Small Sacrifice where Pharaoh who played that mother who did that to her children like that too. That's what that remind me of right there. And I with Felicia. I'm whole responsible for those three people. Where you, Dad? When this baby was gone, you probably was doing player with each woman right here, one by one. Grandma, you should never let your daughter take that baby. Your daughter take those two kids. Now you had to spend your rest of your life, had to regret that too. Because what your daughter did. That's all, Diva.
I appreciate you, Tay. Sebastian, you're up.
Whew, y'all not gonna like me. Um, the grandmother also needs to get some charges, in my opinion. The father of the 4-year-old that's no longer here with us, we don't know that whole circumstance. Maybe we don't know the circumstances. Maybe there was a child custody case. We don't know all those circumstances. So if he was just abandoning this child and was not doing anything, he deserves some time. The father of the 1-year-old that's currently alive, mind you, the child is 1, and I'm not making assumptions, but you never know. Maybe that father did not know he had a child with said woman. Maybe that father did not know that. Clearly, this woman seems to be a reckless. She seems to be very dangerous to society because I don't understand how your mother is the one who has custody of your children unless you are a problem. You have a problem. You clearly have a legal problem and you're getting involved with the law too much for them to take your children from you. Normally, they do not take children from women often, but in this case, they did. So she clearly has a problem, and I personally, I always say this: crimes against children. I don't think there's any. I don't think we can come back from that. We cannot come back from crimes against children. Personally, I believe that crimes against children should be punishable by unaliving. Unalive. I don't play these games when it comes to children. You mess with a kid, you deserve the electric chair. You deserve an injection. I don't play this game. I really don't. I really don't. I have sympathy for children. I really do. And this child was no longer, in the eyes of this woman, this child was no longer a child. This child was an object that could be left on the street. This was like a cigarette bud that she just threw on the street. For his, for this child could have been squashed by a car. This child could have been bitten by an alligator, bitten by a snake. This child, and this was during a wet. We had inclement weather these past couple of weeks in these southern states. The hurricanes could have taken this child and brought this child to the waters, and we God knows where the child would have ended up. We don't have the. I don't play. I don't have mercy for people who have crimes against children. Crimes against children cannot be forgiven in my no. This mother needs to be put down. And this is in Mississippi. She's a black woman. She's in a southern state and doing stuff like this. We know it's not going to be nice. Um, Also, this needs to be mentioned as well. I'm glad the the sheriff was very emotional about this, and it's like essential workers. They drive this country. They make this country what it is. And it's unfortunate that this truck driver had to see this, had to see a child in a ditch. That is traumatic. That truck driver may probably never be able to recover from seeing a child in a ditch. A child. The same way, the janitor at that hospital where that 19-year-old girl put that child in the trash can, that janitor who found that baby is probably never going to be able to recover from that. I don't know what the hell is happening with people. And yes, I agree with Miss Felicia. Don't have kids if you don't want them. That is true. But it's not just don't have kids if you don't want them. Don't have sex if you don't want kids.
Mm.
Don't have sex if you don't want kids. Birth control don't work 100%. Condoms don't work 100%. Um, the only thing that works 100, well, close to 100%, they can't promise you 100%. A hysterectomy or all these don't have sex if you don't want kids. Don't. Because at this point there are 37 families vying for one baby that's born every single day in adopting. 37. That means there's a huge demand. If you don't want to have kids, give them up. Give them up. There are many who would love that child.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Where am I at? Katrina, did you go already?
No, Diva, I haven't.
Go ahead.
And I just want to say that God take care of the fools and kids. And that child had an angel on his side when he was out there overnight. And I'm just trying to figure out what she was planning on saying somebody kidnap her kids, or what was her motive? Why would she just leave them out there like that and go? I mean, I'm not getting it. Um, it breaks my heart. Like Felicia, it breaks my heart with me. I am so overwhelmed. I am so, I guess I'm dedicated. Like I said, when my kids was growing up, I would wake up and go see if they breathing, because I didn't know if, I mean, if I fell asleep, I'm like, oh my God, let me wake up. Let me see if my kids breathing. Let me see if they chest moving up and down. And these people get these kids when people want kids, they can't have them. They get them and mistreat them. And whatever punishment she got coming to her, she deserve it. But it's some stuff missing. Because why? Uh, uh, I just don't get it. Why would you?
I think she's mentally ill. There was obviously a process going on with her because she didn't have the kids. It was her mother and the one of the father's parents, I guess, because it wasn't apparently from what it is appearing like it wasn't the same father for both the kids that was helping take care of the kids. And I think the mother failed to the grandmother, not this is not a pointing finger thing, but she didn't report it as soon as she should have. Right. So as soon as
Yeah.
that girl ran off with them kids, she should have reported it. And then when she got the picture of the car that looked like it was an accident, instead of trying to call the cops, she kept calling the girl, the daughter, like back to back. It's just the whole situation is just extremely sad.
Yeah, I'm saying she was mentally ill, but she was at the bus station or train station trying to get away. That's wild.
Yeah.
But either way, I pray that baby,
Mhm.
he's in God's arms right now. The one that drowned, and the other one, God was looking out for him on this earth, and hopefully, um, Because he's there for a reason. He lasts out there for a reason. He's gonna be something great when he grows up, and I pray that he will be. That's all I got, Diva.
Okay, I appreciate you. Let's go with a 60 seconds for the rest of the people have left. Julius, did you speak yet?
No.
All right, 60 seconds.
Mine is gonna be very brief. Put her under the jail. She is a disgrace. And that's all I'm going to say.
Thank you. Tay, 60 seconds.
I'm with Julius on this right here. Hope she get that electric chair too. That's all, Diva.
I appreciate you. Emmanuel, did you speak on this yet?
No, but I know it's late, so I'll just say that I agree with everyone else's sentiments on this story. Heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking. Yes, it is. Queen Tulsa, I see you came in the building. Your thoughts on this story?
Yes, ma'am, and I'll make it quick. Thank you for having me. I just wanted to point this out. Let's just imagine, some women, they go through miscarriages and, they're so sad and heartbroken about their loss. And then we have individuals that are able to produce children, and some, not all, but mental health is real. We have to protect the elderly. We have to protect the children. And I say that kind of goes hand in hand, because when we think about, nursing homes and things like that, or even inconsiderate caregivers, we've seen plenty of stories about that. And just overall, it's heartbreaking, but if we see something, we have to say something. Let's stop being silent. If we know someone around us looks like they're maybe struggling with something, let's offer advice, let's offer numbers, and at least try to help them. And thank you so much, Miss Ma'am.
Okay, you're welcome. All right, thank you guys. I want to thank you for hanging out there with me, but I do want to do this feel good story real quick. And the reason why I want to do it is because it's about holding on to your dreams, following your dreams, and believing in yourself. I think it's a great story. It's a good watch. So hang in there. It's just about 5 minutes and change.
Act of baking a cake for a coworker's birthday. Jocelyn Delk Adams didn't know it at the time, but within a decade, tens of thousands would be searching the internet for her recipes for all types of food. Janet Shamlian takes us to her Texas kitchen for the story of an unusual culinary career.
There we go.
You won't find Jocelyn Delk Adams in the commercial kitchen of a trendy restaurant.
It's hot.
She serves up food and inspiration from her Dallas area home.
Come on in. Come on in. It's time to be cooking.
With hundreds of videos.
These are the absolute best brownies.
And thousands of views across social media.
Who doesn't love chicken and dumplings?
She's an author.
My new cookbook, Everyday Grand, y'all.
And television personality.
So we're going to add this right in. Yeah, we're going to let that go right into our sauce.
Loosening it?
Yeah, loosen it up a little bit.
But it wasn't, she told me, a career she'd even thought about until she baked a pound cake for a coworker's birthday. At the time, she wasn't doing this. Instead, working in marketing for a magazine.
Everyone was talking about it. They were like, can I pay $20 to make another pound cake for so-and-so's birthday next week? And I was like, sure.
What was going through your head when you were sort of doing this on the side?
I completely fell into it.
Inspired by her grandmother's recipes, she started a food blog called Grandbaby Cakes. Then she tried her hand at a basic cooking video.
Hey everyone, this is Jocelyn coming from the Grandbaby Cakes blog, and today I am joined with my grandmother, Big Mama Maggie from Winona, Mississippi. Oh, I started with 20, 30 views a month. That was my family, period. Those were the only people that knew about my website. And for some reason, I was like, just keep going. Let's just see what happens. I continued to put content on the website.
Tutorials of her take on Southern classics. Enchiladas made of ancho turkey and mustard greens.
I can taste the
mustard green. Taste the mustard green. So it's almost like if you added like spinach to your enchiladas, but I gave this a Southern twist.
A staple of her family holidays, collard greens.
This is one of those classics. I wanted to remain that way. This is my mama's collard greens.
It is a serious crime that people in some parts of the country have never had this.
Right?
What she calls the ultimate mac and cheese.
This one took a lot of effort.
It looks like you cut me like a very small piece here.
I know. I actually should have just put the casserole right in front of you.
Cornbread.
So this one is a brown butter honey chow.
And of course, a big old Southern dessert. Usually more than one.
I know dessert is the last part of a meal, but for you, it was the start.
Yes, yes. And so this one is so fun. This is a praline sweet potato pound cake.
Do you have a to-go container?
It's got a streusel in the center, so you get a little bit more.
Oh, I better go right to the center.
Go right to the center, right?
Her pound cake's such a hit.
This rich, buttery cinnamon roll pound cake is handmade.
Williams-Sonoma teamed up with her to sell them.
Hello. Oh, look, people are joining us.
But it's fan feedback that means the most.
I get tagged on photos. I get tagged on videos of people who are making my recipes for birthday parties, everything. They even have their kids in the kitchen cooking and baking these recipes.
As she does with her own daughter, Harmony.
Okay, so now you wanna mix this together? I'm just gonna have to start.
Often a family affair.
Would you like to add some green pepper?
Peppers in there.
The goal is to make baking and cooking fun. And she insisted to me, anyone can do it.
And then we're just gonna go around the cake, like just let it naturally fall down the sides.
My effort wasn't quite as pretty.
Like,
It tastes the same.
It tastes the same. You know, this is not a baking contest on TV. Like, we just want to eat it, right?
One with
We
you doing that first.
Jocelyn Delk Adams has come a long way from that coworker's birthday cake. Her passion is now her career.
What would you say to someone whose dream is this and they're doing something that isn't this right now?
Take the leap. Take the leap. You know, I was, not following the rule where they're like, before you quit a job, you need to have like 3 months savings. I threw all of that out the window. I was just like, I'm just going to go after it.
You believed in yourself.
I bet on myself. 100%. One, two, three. Give it some heft.
More than a gamble. You might call that a safe investment.
Oh!
With odds that have paid off.
High five, you did it.
For CBS Saturday Morning, I'm Janet Shamlian.
It's pretty beautiful. You did a great job.
Janet, I saw
Good job, Janet.
Oh my God.
By the way, I couldn't wait. I had to bite into it. It is so good. And she's right. Just take that leap. Don't wait.
God. What do we have in front
Don't
of us
wait.
again?
We've got the sweet potato.
Bet on yourself, people. Bet on yourself. Listen, it's late. I appreciate y'all for being here. Hold on, I'm trying to stop this noise behind me. I appreciate y'all for being here. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me. Y'all know the routine. If you didn't hit the like button coming in, hit the like button on the way out. Good night and goodbye, everybody. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Do that shit that diva always